Hey y'all, welcome to episode 2 of the pod. Y'all, this is Nothing Left to Say, the podcast. All right, so let's get into it. Y'all know this podcast feels like therapy, sounds like sisterhood, and reminds you that God's timing never misses. I'm Jazz, and this is where we learn how to grow through what we go through, where we heal, reflect, and have those real conversations that leave us with nothing left to say. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie, this episode gonna be juicy, okay? Our title or whatever is Healing After Disappointment. Y'all, we finna talk about some things. I'm gonna put y'all in my business a little bit in this episode. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna put y'all in my business. I know episode 1, I may have been like a little more conservative about my business, but in this episode, I'm putting y'all in my business. Okay. So, our scripture for this episode is going to be Psalms 34 and 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So last week we talked about waiting on God, but what happens when the thing you waited for doesn't turn out the way you hoped? Let's get into it. All right. All right. So, y'all, literally this is about to be an episode. Like, I'm not gonna lie. This is really gonna be an episode because we're gonna be talking about my ex. And y'all may be like, which one? The ex-husband or the ex-boyfriend? Maybe both. But starting out, we're gonna be talking about my ex-boyfriend. And y'all, I ain't gonna say no names, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I literally, okay. When I met this man, I wasn't even looking for like nobody. Like, I got a friend, her name is Brittany, and she always be like, I was minding my business, but she don't be minding her business when she be saying that. But I was actually minding my business. Like, at the time, I was still married, and me and my ex-husband, we was trying to like work it out. We was trying to like figure out our situations. So I want to say this was New Year's 2021. I went to a church service. It wasn't like my church, but I went to a church service and I was literally minding my business, y'all. Okay. I only went because my brother asked me to go. Mind you, I don't know this pastor. I don't know nobody. I'm just here, right? I'm in the back, literally like the last row warriors. And the pastor came up to me and he said, mind you, he don't know me. Okay. He don't know nothing. He was like, hey, this year, God is gonna send you the one. And I was like, tell me more. And cause y'all, my husband at the time, he was getting on my last nerve. Like, anyway, child. So I'm like, tell me more. Like, what's tea? And he just started describing this person, right? And God was like, he's going to bring you the one that's going to show you how to love. He's going to love your daughter. He's going to do this and that and this and that. And I was just like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. Like, and in my head, to me, that meant like, I don't have to deal with my ex husband no more because you're already getting on my nerves. God is finally going to send me like my actual person, right? Was that the case? Tune in next week to the first 48. I'm just playing. I'm just playing, y'all. But I found this person, right? The person came. He came. It was August 2021. My daughter had just started school and I was on a day nap. This video is not sponsored, so I'm not giving y'all the dating app. But just know, I was on the app, okay? And I remember one day I was just so bored. So I was just swiping. And then I came across this guy. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he's actually cute. Cause y'all know on a dating app, like it be like a lot of let me find it. We're all beautiful in God's eyes, but not my type. Lord, did I do good? Cause they weren't my type. All right. So I was just swiping all day. But when I saw this guy, I was like, "Ooh, boy, you're looking like you like what you see. Won't you come?" So I swiped, y'all. He had already swiped me. He had already matched with me. So I swiped too. I said, "Oh yes, it's the match." And y'all, I ain't the type of person like I'm not gonna DM you first. I'm not gonna do none of that. But I was excited because I was like, "Oh, he fine. Let me send him a little heart." So I sent him a little heart, and then a couple of hours he texts back. So we started like talking, we exchanged numbers, all this good stuff. And so he like asked me on a date. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, great. Mind y'all. I hadn't been on no date in so long. So I really didn't know what to like expect. And then me and my ex-husband, we were like high school sweethearts. So it's like the date is just at your mama house. Like, we not going nowhere. I don't know. I don't know about none of this. This is new to me, right? So he asked me on a date, cool. The day before the date, he tells me, I'm having like some financial issues. Can we like still do the date, but can you come to my house? Cool. Now, looking back, I low key feel like he wasn't really having financial issues. I honestly feel like he just wanted to show me how he was living because he didn't know this, but at that time, I was like a materialistic girl. Like, I want the ballers, the shot callers, how much money you got. Don't care how you getting it. Don't care as long as I mean, it's legal, but I don't really care. What you do. Like, you got some money, you live good, cool, right? Especially coming from what I came from. Like my ex, like I said, he was just regular guy, just regular, just has a job, lives a regular life, which is fine. But because I had already had that and that wasn't working, now I'm looking for something more. I'm looking for something like more exciting, more like, oh, yeah. And if y'all know me, y'all know I'm a very extra person. Like, I'm very extra. And so I'm like, okay, this is boring. I need something that's gonna like wake me up a little bit. I go to dude's house. We ended up like cooking or whatever, watched the movie. Cool. He lived very nice. Condo, nice. Clean, minimalistic, nice. So I remember we was in the kitchen and I was like, have you ever like went to jail? I'm just asking the regular questions. Have you ever beat a woman? You got to ask that now because they be want to put their hands on the girls. And he was like, nah, I ain't never beat a woman. He was like, I went to jail once for like a little traffic ticket. Whoopsie whoop. Cool. All right. So I ain't gonna lie. I stayed at that man's house that night. Now, before y'all start judging, I slept on the couch and we ain't do nothing. We didn't do nothing at all. But that night I found myself like thinking like, dang, okay, he got all these attributes. And I didn't go through my year. Like I said, I got that word in January. I didn't meet him till August. So I wasn't going through my year like, oh, the Lord said he was gone. Oh, this the one. No, but I was like, the pastor did say whoopty whoopty whoop. And now here this man is. I remember being so happy because I was like, this is it. He ain't got no kids. He got a job. He got a nice place. He got a nice car. Like, and he's sweet. This is cool. And he was funny. I think that I'm funny. Okay. I have to be with somebody that's like funny too. Like, we have to be funny. We got to have a kiki. Cool. He ended up asking me to be his girlfriend. within like a week or so. And I was like, no, I don't want to be your girlfriend yet. Like, I feel like, I'm still getting to know you and this and that and this and that. So I had, mind you, I didn't ask God about none of this because I didn't care, if I'm being honest. I didn't care. And I finally told him after about like a month, I was like, I'll be your girlfriend now. And we got into a relationship. The moment that we got into a relationship, it was red flags, like 6 flags. Like, you get a red flag, you get a red flag, you get a red flag, you get a red flag. But because I was just like, well, God said that, this was my husband, like, he was the one and this and that. I ignored so much, right? Because it's like, you're not even in your Bible. So you don't even understand that God is not the author of confusion. It's not going to be all of this. Like, it may come with some stuff, but it ain't going to be like, this is far. But I continued on because at this point, yeah. Come to find out, he was like in like this nightlife, right? Mind y'all, both of my parents are pastors. And I used to be outside and stuff, but like, I was never the girl to just be outside. Like, I was never the girl to just run the streets for real and be in the clubs and do all that. That really wasn't me. Like, I'll go outside, but I'll be in the house. And I was never a club girl. Like, ew, the club, buying a drink. Like, I was never that. But come to find out, that was like his like career. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, how am I going to introduce him to my parents? And this man be at the club with the girls twerking. They be like smoking weed. They be doing all of this stuff. How am I going to introduce him to my people? So for a minute, I was like, ain't nobody mean nobody. I'm going to keep you over here and I'm going to keep them over there. And that's how you know, like, is this really God for real? If you have to isolate and sneak and maneuver and do all of this, is God really a part of that? Like, but you're not thinking that because, once again, you're not in your Bible. Your relationship with God is basically non-existent. Like, you don't care. Y'all, me and this man, we started having really bad arguments. And he would degrade me so bad. He would tell me things like, no one's going to love you like me. Like, you can go into a whole nother relationship. No one is going to love you like me. I'm the only one. He would just say some of the most hurtful things. But because in my head, once again, I'm thinking like, this is who God put me with. I was just going with it. He started back doing his job, which is being in the nightlife. He was a very popular MC. That's what we call it in Texas, Dallas. He was a very popular MC. And I remember once he started back, I don't think I told my parents just yet. I think they saw it on social media because I started like posting the flyers. And if y'all know my family, y'all know one thing about it. They gonna spread a rumor, but it be true. So they was like, Jazz, like, he do what? And I'm like, oh, now listen to this. Listen, let me tell you how crazy it sounded. When he started back doing his job, he told me like, look, I just want to let you know, I just be about my job and that be it. I don't be with none of the extra. I don't let girls hug me a certain way. I don't let girls do da-da-da. I don't do da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. So in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, he just does his job and he goes home. He's a very respectful king. So when my parents came to me with it, like, and I'm like, well, mama, he said that he don't do this, he don't do that, he don't do that, he just shows up. Cool. I remember the first time I went to see him work like at a club. I got a rush. I was so happy because it was like lights, camera, action. Like, all the attention is on you, as in him. And then because I'm there with him, now the attention is on me. I got my friends with me. A time is had. Like we up in the club, like going up. Now, mind y'all, the clubs that he worked at, they were more like after hours. So we're at the club from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., right? Going to the club, having a good time, having a good time. And then I just started catching him in these lies. I started noticing I had already peeped the red flags, but now the red flags started to affect me. I brought my daughter around him and I was finally comfortable enough to like let my family meet him and like let him meet my family, right? So at first, my mom liked him, I think, and my dad didn't. And then it switched. My dad didn't like him. I ain't gonna say like, I'm gonna say didn't cut for him. And then my mom, she just didn't. But it was a point in time where she started to compromise her feelings. My dad started compromising his feelings. We were supposed to go to a Summer Walker concert. Now, y'all, I had never been to a Summer Walker concert. I just wanted to go. I was invited. It was going on like a double date, whatever. I was in the restroom doing my makeup and I had like a chair. Mind you, he was a very clean man, very clean. Everything had a place. And I had like my makeup all over the place and the chair. And he had said something real smart. Next thing I know, that literally like led to a crazy argument to the point of me like having to call my father, like I'm scared type stuff. It was it was bad. We didn't make it. Well, he didn't make it to the concert. I still went because I'm gonna get my little money's worth. Went to the concert, ended up going to my parents' house, whatever, sleep it off, whatever. Y'all, why was I back at his house the next day? Back at his house the next day, and I just found myself going through this cycle over and over and over again. And in my head, I'm just thinking, well, God said, mind you, I have not consulted with God. I didn't ask him. I'm going off of what somebody else told me. I didn't test the spirit by the spirit. I'm going off of me, right? Not even knowing what I'm setting myself up for, right? My mom and them, like, my mama in particular, she's like a prayer. Like, she will pray. And she was like, every time I pray, it's never nothing good that I get out of it. It's always something bad. But because at this point in life, like, I found myself, I guess I would say, trying to be my own savior. Like, because my marriage did not work, this has to work. The man said it. This man has the attributes that the man said. He said this year, it's this year, and this man came. Like, of course. Mind y'all, that was in 2021, right? It was August 2021. Me and this man had so many arguments and disagreements. It turned so toxic. The police used to be called, all types of stuff. But along with those arguments, there was also the good stuff, like the love bombing and the gifts, the attention, getting to go to these like lavish club events, getting to go on a yacht. Have y'all ever been on a yacht? Come to find out, it wasn't even a yacht, but that's what they said on the flyer. And that's what they advertised it was. So I'm like, I'm on a yacht. It was a nice boat, but just getting all these perks and you just thinking like in your head, it's like you're so far gone. You're really thinking like, dang, like this is the best that God has for me. Like this is it. Like, okay, I'm gonna cry at night, but I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be cool. And now you find yourself going to the club. You're trying to invite people to the club. They're not showing up. Time and time and time and time again, it's like I would invite people from like work. I would invite people from church. And they'll be like, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. Cool, cool, cool. I'm like, bad, we lit. I'm at the club. I'm there by myself. They in the bed sleep. And I'm like, first time it happened, I was like, all right, whatever, that's weird. Second time it happened, I'm like, whoa, like this is okay. Third time it happened, I was like, why don't they come when I invite them? They literally said they was coming. Where is the girls? Like, but let it be about a meal. Y'all gonna be the first ones there. So now I'm getting mad because it's like, all right, I'm in this life. I'm in pretty deep, but I'm also trying to drag these people with me. But I noticed God, He started doing this thing to where I felt like I was winning in life, but I had nothing to show for it. I have this person, he's in the nightlife. I want my people to see it. I want my people to see like how lit it can be in the club and how lit we finna be and we finna turn up and we finna do this and we finna do that. Whole time, boo, you by yourself. They say you're gonna go to hell by yourself. At some point in time, we just gotta move on and do something different. Y'all, one of the last times I invited people, they all showed up. So at that point, I'm like, okay, like I'm on a high at this point. Once again, I'm saving myself. I'm no longer letting my savior save me, right? I'm saving myself. I'm thinking I'm good. I ain't gonna lie. We was on the stage, we was twerking. They had the camera people panning in. I'm like, oh yeah, get my good side. Get my good side. We lit until it actually got lit. During that season, I found myself starting to really transition. Things started to feel different within myself. And I felt like I had turned into this person that like I had never known before. Skirts short, short shorts, tank tops, cleavage, eyelashes out to here, long nails, just ratchet. Like I found myself like unfamiliar in a way, right? So funny because 2022, 2023, that's when my parents decided that they were going to open up their church. Mind you, I'm still with this man. We still going through it. But God is now pulling at my heart. From disappointments, from disappointments that this man has done to me, I'm finally just like, Lord, I'm tired. It's becoming too much. He's lying. I'm being treated wrong. The club isn't even fun anymore. But I feel stuck. I want to get out of it. But at the same time, I'm stagnant. I'm complacent. I don't know what me leaving this situation is going to look like. You sent a prophet to me to tell me that this is who I'm supposed to be with, and it's not working out. It looks terrible. It feels terrible. And on top of all of this, now my parents are about to go open up a church. I felt so confused because in my head, I knew with them opening up a church, it's going to come more responsibility for me. Not because they made it or they pressured, but because I know I'm going to want to help my parents. I'm going to want to help them, right? I remember we were getting ready to like have the send-off service for them to start their church. And we were supposed to have a practice. It was on a Wednesday, I'll never forget. And at the time I was a nail tech, so I was at the shop, and God was like heavy, like on me while I'm doing some nails. And it's just so heavy on my heart. Like, go to his house, show up. Mind y'all, this is days before my parents is about to be sent off to start this church. And I'm sitting there doing the nails and I'm like, I got practice, so I got to go to church. I ain't popping up tonight. Try again tomorrow. I'm the pop up queen. I love a pop up. But I got a call from my sister. Hey, practice is canceled. I said, oh, okay, cool. I'm getting in the car. I'm driving. I still don't know if I'm going yet, right? I get to a light. If I go right, I'm going home. If I'm going left, I'm going to his house. I'm at the light. Now, mind y'all, I can turn right. The light is red, but I can turn right and I can get on the service road and I can get on the freeway. And something just told me, and I feel like it was God, go to the house. I went to this man's condo, y'all. Now, he stayed in one of them, like, you got to have that key fob to get in the door, right? That night, it was real easy to get in. I didn't need a key fob. I didn't have to wait on nobody to open the door and then I run in real quick. The door was like stuck open. It was almost as if like somebody may have put like a rock there, but there was nothing there. It was like, but the door, it didn't close fully. Whoever came out of it last, they did not make sure that that door was closed all the way. So I had easy access. I go in, mind y'all, we have been arguing all day long, me and the guy. So I went in and y'all, I wrote this on my note card because I wanted to tell y'all, like I had to be very like specific when I said it. I thought that that was my moment, the thing that I prayed for. And when it fell apart, I questioned everything, my timing, my choices, and even God for a minute. I went in that man's door, room, section, whatever it's called. I knocked on the door. A girl opened the door in her underwear. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm at the wrong, door. And she was like, no, it's okay. Like, it's fine. She closes the door. She didn't like it. I took a few steps back. I looked at the door number and I was like, this is not the wrong door. I go back in. Like I said, she ain't locked the door. I go back inside. Y'all, the girl is still in her underwear. And this was like happening back to back. And I'm like, is so-and-so here? And she was like, oh no, he's not here. Who are you? And I was like, I'm the girlfriend, boo. Who are you? And the girl was like, his girlfriend? And in that moment, I just remember feeling scared because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've seen this on reality shows and like movies. I ain't never seen this in real life. So I'm like, dang, what do I do? Am I supposed to like beat the girl up? Are we supposed to talk? Like, where is he? I'm so confused. So me and a girl talking, she's trying to get information. I'm trying to get information. And I'm just so hurt and heartbroken in this time, right? And I'm thinking like, Lord, I don't like you. Because why did you have this pastor come to me and tell me that this was my husband? And I done stay here and walk through this door and done seen this girl in her underwear. So the girl telling me how long they had been dating, things that he had done for her. Obviously, they had been sleeping together, all types of stuff. And I would say he wasn't even treating the girl that good, if I'm being honest. She was getting way less than what I was getting, like way less. And I just remember being so heartbroken. And I told myself, like, this is it. I was in that man's condo for 2 hours talking to that girl, and he didn't know. He had no clue until he had a clue. And then I had to get my stuff and be out. I ain't gonna lie. Police was called. We in there trying to And I told the girl, I said, look, I ain't trying to fight you or nothing because you not my problem. You don't owe me nothing. It's him, right? But whole time, it was really me. Not knowing that was a setup from God. Not knowing I had to go. It all had to. God's timing is so strategic. I'm literally finding out this man is cheating on me, had been cheating on me. And just days later, my parents about to open up a church. My season was changing. My season was changing before my eyes. And as much as I was like, Lord, I want to go, but I don't want to go. I'm comfortable, but I'm hurt. I'm happy, and then I'm sad. Sometimes we give God no choice but to be like, bet, let her rip. They not going to do it on their own. Let it rip. And you find yourself having to go through stuff that you really necessarily didn't have to go through, because I could have cut it off a long time ago. I could have just been like, you know what? You do you, boo. And if you for me, you will come back, and whatever the case may be. But because I was comfortable, I was stagnant, and I did not go seek God, I ended up in rooms I should have never been a part of, right? He ends up finding out I'm in the condo. I had bought him a PS5 for his birthday. I stole it, y'all. I took it back. I ain't gonna lie. But it was so heavy, I had to set it down. So the plan was, I set it down outside. We were gonna go to the parking garage. I was gonna get my car, roll back around, and get the bag, right? By the time I did that, the police was there, right? I couldn't get the bag. Mind y'all, the bag was heavy. Catch this. It was heavy, so I had to sit it down. It was no longer mine. It no longer belonged to me. And at the time, I'm just thinking like, oh, it's just a game. It's just a game. But as time goes on, I think back to that very moment when I tried to go back to get it and it didn't work. When God is bringing you out of a season and you're putting down that heavy load, it's not for you to go and pick back up. It's for you to leave it right there at his feet. Boop. All right, God, tag you it. It's on you. But because now I'm trying to go around outside of God's will and I'm trying to get the bag. I'm still trying to get the bag. I end up leaving it. I leave. And next thing I know, I get a call from the cops because they can't physically see the bag. I hid it in some bushes, right? They're like, oh, he said you broke in and he said this and he said that. Mind y'all, if y'all know me, y'all know I record everything. I recorded that whole night. I asked the girl, I said, can I record this? She was like, oh, I don't care. Thanks, boo. 3, 2, 1. You're on candy camera. Whole night recorded. We running down the hallway. We acting like bulls and buddies. Like, baby, we sprint down the whole night was recorded. So when I got back, the cops asked me to come back. Cool. I showed them the footage. And so they told him, they was like, she didn't break in. This girl let her in. You didn't tell us you had somebody else there. You didn't tell us it was all of this going on. So the lady cop, she came to me. She was like, girl, leave him alone. Like, he is a loser. You need to die. And I'm just crying. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm so hurt. I'm so embarrassed. And I'm thinking, what are people going to say about me? Because I had made this thing my idol. It was not just a boyfriend. It wasn't just, it turned from, oh, this is who I'm supposed to be with and all that. And it became my number one. God became, he wasn't top 3. He wasn't top 5. He was in the top 10, but that's not good enough for him at all. And I learned that so fast, right? I left. I remember going home. I was so hurt. I was like, dang, everybody's about to say I told you so. I was getting to it with my siblings because they was like, girl, he's playing you. Like, wake up and smell the roses. I'm like, dang, they gonna say I told you so. My parents gonna say I told you so. Da, 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 da. And I'm just thinking like, this is really the end for me. And I'm sad. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was sad. And I did not, I got to the point where I just didn't care because my heart was like, Lord, you said this. You. Whole time it's like, God is like, no, you. You didn't seek my face. You didn't ask me if this was my will for you. You went after man. You made that word your idol. So now I got to take it. If you think that this is all I have for you, if you think that this is the best that it can get from you, you really don't know who I am. You really don't know, you really don't understand the God that you serve if you think that this is what you're getting. Why would I give you a value type meal when I can give you steak and lobster, surf and turf? When I can give you 5-star restaurant, I can give you private dinner. You trying to get fast food. Why do you want fast food? You're going to be filled up for what? A couple of hours off a burger and some fry and a drink? I'm trying to get you to the finer things in life. I'm trying to get you to the nice restaurants where you have to book a reservation, where you can't go in there dressed any type of way. He can't come in there with a baseball hat on and a white tee and some shorts and some slides and some Nike socks. He has to come with his best. You have to come with your best. Why do you think that this is all that I can give you? Because you don't truly know who I am. Going through that season, I was depressed. I isolated myself. And I just found myself just like sad all the time. But I had to heal. I had to learn to put myself first for once. I had to learn that you have to test the spirit by the spirit. But my heart was so broken. I remember telling God, like, Lord, this is too much. This is too much for me. Right? I'm still me, you know, me. But God is like, there's nothing too much for me. When you wake up in the morning, that's me. Y'all know how to be like, the little kids be running around. You be like, yeah, that's me. That's mine. God is like, that's me. I can do a work in you. I can give you X, Y, and Z. I can bring the man for you that you're supposed to have. But it has to start with me. It has to end with me. These idols, it ain't gonna cut it. If I'm not at the center, if I'm not at the foundation, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna drag you through it every single time. If I gotta embarrass you 30 times just to get a yes out of you, I'm gonna do it. If I gotta make you broke just for you to say yes, I'm gonna do it. If you have to lose every single thing in order for me to get my yes, I'm gonna do it. So you can either make this easy on yourself or you can make it hard, but you just saw what I carried you through. You just saw what you went through. Do you really want to go back to that? Y'all, number one, my healing went through me having to feel it. I always walked around with this mindset of, I'm okay. He did this, but I'm fine. I had to feel it. God made me feel it, y'all. I was going through, I didn't eat for 10 days. And my sister called and she said, did you eat today? I said, no. She said, I'm about to bring you some Wendy's. Don't eat it. I'm telling mama that you ain't ate still. Maybe I ate that Wendy's, chunked it down, y'all. Y'all know me, I'm a foodie. I'm going to eat. I couldn't even eat, but I had to feel it. I didn't numb it. And I had to make sure I didn't rush to be fine. A lot of times we go through and we be like, I'm just ready to stop feeling this. Like, I'm just ready to stop feeling it. I had to feel it so I can make sure to tell myself this is a feeling that you never want to feel ever again. I got to make sure that I know for me, nah, sis, you took it far. You you did it. You city girls down. City girls down 5,000 points cuz of you, boo. I had to talk to God about it and be honest. I had to tell God, like, one, I had to repent. Lord, I'm sorry. And two, well, Lord, if that wasn't the guy, who is the guy then? I changed my mindset because at that point, y'all, the church had been open and stuff, right? And, I'm getting the word in me again. I'm getting it. I'm reading my Bible. I'm praying. And I just remember thinking, like, okay, so if that wasn't it, that means you're still sending it. It hasn't come just yet. That was the counterfeit. Next is the blessing. And I remember thinking, like, okay, cool. Mind you, I'm still hurt. Don't get me wrong. I'm still hurt, heartbroken. Me and this man arguing on the internet, just embarrassing ourselves. It's terrible. But when you walk in disobedience, you're going to suffer. That was my suffering, the embarrassment. I know them people talked about us like a dog. I knew it was bad. We on live, my phone finna die. I ran to Target to get another charger. My charger had messed up. My phone was dying. I ran to Target. And my mama calling me like, Jazz, just get off Instagram. He's not worth. No, I gotta say this. I gotta prove my point. Whole time, no, you gotta let God fight your battles. You gotta zip it, throw away the key, and let God do it. But I wasn't on that type of time yet. But he started to change me. I had to find the lesson. What did this teach me? This taught me seek God, ask him, have relationship with him, put nobody before him. If somebody gives you a word, go and ask God, is this the word for me? Is this the word that you have for me in this season? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing in this season? Because people can give you words, right? But people can mess up. People can get dates wrong. They can maybe add their own twist or flavor to the word that they're giving you. So that's what I learned. I also learned to forgive. I had to forgive myself, but I also had to forgive him. I had to look at it like I can't just blame you for my disobedience because I knew what God was telling me to do and I didn't listen. I don't know what God told him, but I know what God told me and I didn't listen. So I had to forgive him. And it wasn't one of those things where it was like, oh, I'm going to forgive, but I ain't going to forget. No, I had to let some stuff go. I had to push some stuff way back because I knew if you were the counterfeit, God is actually going to send the husband. He's going to send the man. But if I'm all jacked up on the inside, one, I may not even know when he's coming. And two, when he comes, I may not even be ready. Sometimes God lets things fall apart so he can build you back stronger. I'm no longer that same person that I was then. Funny story. So once we broke up, I did meet somebody. Like, I was going through my healing process, but I still had the mindset of like, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. That was my mindset still, not gonna lie. And I met a guy, I met a man, and I remember thinking like, I I can't talk to him because he's different. He's set apart. He's not like this. Mind y'all, I'm used to like flashy, popping bottles, doing all this, doing all that, loud. He was like the total opposite. And I was like, nah, I I can't. It's he's too like perfect. But don't we serve a perfect God? Isn't God perfect? So why don't we look for perfection in other people? No, we cannot be perfect. But if we're calling ourselves believers, then it's obvious that we want to look like who we're believing in. But because I was so used to trash, I wasn't aware of the treasure. Got the treasure. I'm telling myself, no, 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 no. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I realized that I was telling myself I couldn't do it because I was still going through my disappointment season. I was still disappointed. I was disappointed in myself. I was disappointed in God. And I just did not understand the why. I was still going through the why. And then I met the guy. And it wasn't at that time that I knew that things were, I knew he was set apart. I knew that he was different, but I also knew that my heart was still broken from the last guy. And I remember we were just talking and he asked me on a date. We ended up going on a date or whatever the case may be. And months had went by and my parents was like, who is this guy? And I remember telling them and my friends, I was like, I'm literally like, I'm keeping him hidden because he's a gem. Y'all remember I just said sometimes because you're so used to trash, you don't even see the treasure. He was a gem. And I remember saying, I don't want nobody to meet him. I don't want nobody to meet him. But only this time, I didn't want anyone to meet him because I knew that he was set apart. And I didn't know the purpose. I didn't know the purpose. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know really what God was doing with that. But I remember that he was like so set apart. But I wasn't completely healed yet, right? God was still working on me. While I was talking to the new guy, the old guy, he would always tell me, you're broken. You're broken. You're a broken woman. But what I realized was I'm not broken. I'm human. I disobeyed God. I suffered a consequence. But God is a redeemer. God is a restorer. I'm not going to stay in this forever. God is going to pull me through. He's going to get me out of this with a sound mind, with a clear heart, with a forgiving heart. And God did it. Let's get into it. Fast forward, I would say to 2024. 2024? Oh yeah, I want to say it was 2024. What I didn't understand was God can literally, people can be wrong. Prophets can be wrong. I didn't understand that. One, prophets can be wrong, but also two things can be like, what they be saying on TikTok? Two things can be true at the same time. So what the pastor said, it wasn't wrong and it wasn't right. God was sending him. It just went in 2021. I just didn't get it in 2021. But what I can say is, if I did not go through that trash, I would not have known the treasure. If I didn't go through the heartbreak, I never would have understood the love of a true man. And I'm not even necessarily talking about the man. I'm talking about the man up there, God. Letting God repair my heart, and he's still repairing my heart. Like, that's the everyday thing. But laying down my feelings, laying down my fears, and letting God actually do it and position me to exactly where I needed to be, golden. It was golden. One of my other favorite Bible stories is Hannah. And I can like connect with Hannah because I feel like Hannah went through a season of heartbreak. Hannah went through a season of uncertainty. If y'all don't know the story of Hannah, Hannah, she wanted a baby. She had a husband. Her husband didn't even believe in her. Her husband did not believe that she could bear children. Her husband had other wives that used to tease Hannah and ha 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 ha, you can't get pregnant and you can't do this. I feel like Hannah was so heartbroken to where all she could do was run to the Father. That's it. And when she went to God, she was so specific with her prayer. And y'all, I had a prayer too. Now, I ain't finna sit here and say I had no Sierra prayer. It wasn't all of that now. I ain't gonna lie. It wasn't all of that. But I'm gonna tell y'all what my prayer was in a second. But Hannah went to God. She went to the tabernacle. She traveled. And she told God, like, Lord, if you give me a son. She ain't say, Lord, just give me a baby. Just give me a healthy baby. She ain't say that. Lord, if you give me a son, I promise I will resurrender him back to you. Hannah left. She went back. It didn't say when Hannah went back, she was combative with the wives. I never read that Hannah even got into it with any of his wives. I never read that. It always gave Hannah was just more so like very classy, like, okay, whatever type stuff. Hannah ended up getting pregnant. God ended up fulfilling Hannah's promise at the end of the day. God did it for her, but he did it for her when her posture changed. He did it to her. He gave it to her when she surrendered everything, when she laid on her face, when she was very specific with what she said. Her process may not have looked the best, just like we talked about in episode 1. The process may look ugly, but when you give it to God, God is going to do it. I had to give God my fears. I had to give God my embarrassment. I had to give God every single pain that I felt in my body. I'm like, Lord, the marriage didn't work out. The rebound relationship after the marriage didn't work out. Like, I had to give it to God. Strategically enough, I gave it to him once my season was changing, right? Going back to 2024, I remember talking to a friend and she told me that her and her boyfriend, they were practicing abstinence, right? At the time I wasn't practicing abstinence. I was doing my biggest. Okay. And I remember getting off the phone and I kind of felt convicted in a way. I was still going to church, but I wasn't practicing the Bible. I was just practicing church. I was just there. I was a seat filler. I got off the phone with her and I prayed to God, kind of like Hannah. See, the Bible, it never said that Hannah was in a tabernacle like, oh Lord, please take the load. It said Hannah she just went. Cool, calm, and collect. She just went. I got off the phone with her, cool, calm, and collectedly. I just prayed to God. And I didn't pray to him out loud because at the time I wasn't comfortable with praying to him like verbally. So I prayed to him in my head. And I was just like, Lord, um, because now I'm seeking God's face. Now I don't really care about the word. You can bring me words. I want to hear it from the source. Okay. Lord, if, this is my husband. This is how I said it, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I was in my head, but I was like, Lord, what the girls be doing? If this is my husband, you know, he wouldn't mind like not sleeping with me anymore. And in that moment, I was scared because I had already faced disappointment from my marriage, from my ex. And so I was low key scared. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, dang, I'm gonna lose this one too. Because he's a man. Like, they have wants, like they have needs. Like, he's not gonna, whatever. I prayed it, I left it alone. About a week or two later, we were leaving church and out of nowhere, this man said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He said, God told me like we have to stop sleeping together." And I was like, mind you, I hadn't told anybody about this conversation I had with God. Low key, I forgot about it. Like, I was like Hannah, like I gave it to God and I was just like, left it alone. And I remember being in my head like, oh my gosh, Lord, this time you gave me the confirmation. I didn't have to go, seek it out. I didn't have to beg for it. I didn't have to go get a reading or whatever they be doing. You gave me the confirmation this time, which means I know that you're going to continue to heal my heart. I know that you're going to continue to prepare me. And honestly, at the time, I thought that it would be, I guess, a walk in the park. But God has just continued to prepare me from that day. That was spring 2024. It's now fall 2025, about to go into 2026. And what I'm going to say before I close is God is still keeping his promise. It may not look like he is. It may not feel like he's keeping it, but he's connecting every single piece because I seeked God's face. I went to the source. Y'all are going to the source. I went to the source. And what God said, it is so. It is so. It is going to happen. It is going to be. God did repair my heart. God is still repairing my heart. I'm still growing through what I went through. But God, or nevertheless, God is making it happen. Because I surrendered, I gave it to him, and I leaned not on my own understanding. He is doing it. So if you find yourself in a season to where you're just like, okay, Lord, what next? My heart is broken. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to turn to. Turn to God and surrender it. Just give it to him. And it's nothing fancy. It's nothing extra. Just give it to him. God, this is how I feel. God, this is what I want to know. And I promise you, he is going to speak to you. I want to leave you guys with knowing that disappointment isn't the end, it's the beginning of something new. If I didn't get my heart broken, I don't think I would be the person that I am today. I don't think that my season would have changed. I think I would have been on this repeated cycle of trying to find love and trying to just find that thing when whole time it was God that gave me unconditional love. Nobody but him, but God. So if you find yourself just in that season, just give it to him. Surrender your fears, surrender your worries, surrender any doubts that you may have. And I promise you, this is sister to sister. It's gonna get better. You're gonna make it. It's gonna be okay. You're not damaged goods. And God has somebody specific that he is working on just for you. Period. And don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Have that personal conversation with God and let him reveal to you who your person is supposed to be. Now, I'm going to give y'all a little advice before I end. Don't go running your mouth. Once God gives you that confirmation, shut your mouth. You don't have to run and go tell all your girlfriends and all these other people what God said. That's between you and him. Keep it between y'all two. If you just got to tell somebody, tell someone that's like-minded. Someone that'll understand it in the spirit and not the flesh. Because in the flesh, your homegirl's going to be like, huh? Him? You sure? But in the spirit, it's like God is like, I've made it to where y'all heartbeats beat at the same time. And you just don't even know it yet. So that's just my advice to y'all. And honestly, that is how I was able to heal after my disappointment. Y'all, somebody going to jail, I think. I don't know. Y'all got warrants? Anybody got any warrants? We got to get out of here. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to episode 2. Y'all, episode 3, it's gonna be tea. I'm not gonna tell y'all what we talking about because I don't be lying and I don't really know what episode 3 is gonna be yet. But make sure y'all follow me on all social media platforms. If y'all watching episode 2 and I still don't have the platforms for y'all to follow me on, verbally, just look at the screen. It's going to be somewhere on the screen for y'all to follow me. Hopefully by episode 2, I actually have it set up. But just look. It's going to be somewhere on the screen. And yeah, just remember that God loves y'all and I love y'all too. And I will see y'all in episode 3 of Nothing Left to Say, the podcast.